What is the greatest, fuck it, I'll do it myself, in history? Henry VIII, the Pope refused to grant him a second divorce, so he took England out of the Catholic Church and started the Church of England, conveniently taking all the wealth in English church coffers for himself and kicking off a very bloody conflict between Catholics and Protestants. Justin Schmidt. This guy is an absolute mad lad. He developed the Schmidt sting pain scale by purposely getting bitten and stung by a shed load of insects and then grading the pain level. But not only that, he then goes on to describe exactly the type and feel of the pain. Some of the best are for the bullet ant, where he describes it as pure, intense brilliant pain, like walking over flaming charcoal with a 3-inch nail embedded in your heel. Alvin C. York, an American soldier in World War I, who was a pacifist and only enlisted as a conscientious objector. His unit of 17 got assigned to infiltrate German lines and take out a machine gun nest. After most of his unit was injured or killed, his fuck it, I'll do it myself moment happens. Being the highest ranking soldier alive in his unit, he orders the rest to guard the wounded and charge the nest his damn self. Killed as many German soldiers as his rifle had ammo, gets rushed by 6 more soldiers, kills them all with his pistol. The commander of the machine gun nest shoots at and misses York with every bullet he has, then promptly surrenders, along with 129 other German soldiers to this one beast of a soldier. Gets promoted to sergeant on the spot when he, and what's left of his unit, marches the 130 plus captured German soldiers back to their base. Ferruccio Lamborghini was a successful Italian businessman, and like many successful Italian businessmen, he owned some Ferraris. Ferraris of the day were horribly unreliable however, so one day he went and complained straight to Mr. Ferrari about it. Ferrari basically told him he didn't know shit about cars and to stick to making tractors. Mr. Lamborghini was so insulted by this that he started his own car company just to prove Ferrari wrong, and that's where Lamborghini came from. In 1961, Russian surgeon Leonid Rogozov performed an appendectomy on himself. Dashrath Manshi is a man who single-handedly cut a mountain in half in order to make a passage between his tiny village and the city on the other side of the mountain. He did this because you would have to either climb or go around the mountain to get to the doctor. His wife was wounded and died while he was trying to fetch the doctor. He vowed to not rest until he could make a passageway for the doctor to easily reach the village. It took him 22 years, but he turned a 55-kilometer journey into a 15-kilometer journey. He had help from time to time, but many thought him insane, but it worked. Unfortunately, it was only after his death in 2007 that the government got its ass together and built more roads and made the pass safer. In 2016 he was honored with a set of stamps bearing his personage. He sacrificed so much to help the village he loved. Stanislav Petrov, manning a Soviet missile defense system during a very tense period of the Cold War, looked at an alert from the computer that claimed that the US had just launched nukes at the USSR, said, "Fuck it, this computer is wrong, I'll decide if we are being attacked," and I decide no, and didn't sound the alarm for a counterattack against his standing orders. He was correct, and single-handedly stopped the Cold War from becoming a nuclear war. Juan Puyol Garcia was a Spaniard who created his own counterintelligence operation for the Allies during World War II. Initially, he approached British and American intelligence offering them his services, but both countries rebuffed him. Undeterred, Garcia created a fictional persona as a pro-fascist Spanish official and got himself recruited by the Nazis who directed him to travel to Britain to recruit agents. Instead, Garcia created a network of fictitious agents and sub-agents using publicly available information like newspapers and travel brochures. It was at this point that he again contacted Allied intelligence and was finally recruited. Garcia continued his work throughout the war and received both a knighthood from the British and the Iron Cross for the same operation. The Nazis never realized that he was a double agent. When Teddy Roosevelt wanted to be in the army to fight in the Spanish-American War, but they wouldn't take him since he was pretty much blind. so he became a volunteer for the US Army and created a unit made up of rich playboys that he went to school with and a bunch of cowboys he became friends with. When he went on a soul-finding journey, they used a private yacht to go overseas. Leo Major took the town of Zwolle, Netherlands, on his own from the Germans during World War II. Not only that, but he'd previously, a month prior, broken his back, several ribs, and both ankles. And during that battle, single-handedly fought 8 SS officers in hand-to-hand combat, killing 4. Also, about a year prior, he'd lost an eye killing 4 other SS officers when one ignited an incendiary grenade, so he was doing this with only one eye. Also, he rejected a Distinguished Conduct Medal because he believed General Montgomery was incompetent. He later fought in Korea, where he and 18 men recaptured a hill where the US Infantry Division nearby had tried and failed several times. He and his men then held the Chinese counterattack off all night, practically bombarding himself in the process. Major was the sort of badass that would have made John Rambo say, "Fuck that guy's one hard ass motherfucker," except Major was real. Absolute legend. Ain't let nobody say Canada hasn't got fight. Thor Heyerdahl, a Norwegian adventurer and ethnographer, went on the Kon-Tiki expedition in 1947 to prove to the Norwegian embassy that it was possible the Polynesian islands were populated from ancient civilizations from South America. So he and his 3 friends constructed a simple raft of wooden logs and sailed from South America to the Pacific Islands only using the currents in the Pacific. Oh, and they documented the whole expedition and later won an Oscar. Genghis Khan went from a scraping for food on the Mongolian steppes to becoming a Mongol chief, to uniting all the Mongol clans, to conquering the biggest empire ever. Oh, and fathering more children than anyone. Something like 1 in every 200 men are direct line descendants. Władysław Waza, King of Poland. When his nobility didn't want to fight back for our land's conquest by Sweden, he started just moving around his spies and soldiers around the country without a target, just to make the Sweden spies report a grand preparation for war. Sweden was tired after 3 decades of wars, so they give up this taken land. Władysław didn't even declare or speak about declaring a war, he just made his soldiers walk around his country with empty wagons. Thanks for watching the video. For more content like this, please subscribe, like, and share the video and push the notification button.